What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dom and Pop DC Sports Talk Plus podcast. This week, we're going to be covering preseason week 3, as well as going over our top 10 NFL power rankings. Of course, we're going to do our cazz of the week and our bada bets. What's going on, everybody? We are in person here in Fenwick Island. Just reminding you, please like, comment, subscribe, check out Dom and Pop podcast on YouTube and Dom and Pop DC Sports Talk Plus podcast on Spotify. Check us out on Instagram at DC Sports Plus. Same on Twitter at DC Sports Plus. Thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, download, all that good stuff.
Once again, amazing, son.
Thank you, Pop. I really,
Perfect. You
really
nailed it.
appreciate it. All right, Pop, how you doing? What's going on?
Doing good. Preseason's all in the books now.
Thank God. Now we can
Thrilling
stuff.
game against the Ravens.
Oh, I mean, it's their Super Bowl. You know, that's a huge, huge deal for them every year. Is that preseason?
What's that? 23? Is that right, or
23
in a row?
And zero care from Dominic on that. Good for them.
You hate on that preseason streak.
It's so dumb. It's just such loser talk. I was texting you yesterday. I was like, you know, there's no chance we're going to beat that streak. And then we kind of score that touchdown. And you're like, they might do it for a second. And I was just waiting for Lamar to put his helmet on and get out there against the Fours and just seal the game. Like, that's their thing. They got to win in the preseason. But anyways, yeah, so without further ado, I mean, we lost 17-15. But I think let's not bury the headline. Let's get right into it. Sam Howell. 4 quarters of Sam Howell football. Pop, take it away. What'd you think?
Sam Howell was pretty good. You don't want to get carried away, but both in terms of rushing and passing, I think he ended up 24 for 35 for 280 yards. I think he had like another 60 running the ball. So, yeah. And the thing I like about him is that he's just such a competitor.
Yeah.
Like when he's got the ball, you've got a fair amount of confidence that he's going to drive the team down the field. Impressive. I mean, I can't believe he slipped to the 5th round. If you think about the quarterbacks who were taken in front of him, it's hard to imagine that there would be that many quarterbacks in front of him. But impressed with Sam Howell. Try not to get carried away, but definitely an impressive performance by Sam. I think our Sauce Award's going to be pretty easy today.
Well, maybe. Never know. But definitely the Sauce Award for the game should be pretty easy. But,
yeah,
I think, how it's pretty impressive. I think there are some things that contributed to the slide. You know, he kind of had a little bit more of a down year in his last year. He's playing at a smaller school, playing in the ACC. And, of course, he's a little bit undersized, but not like Kyler Murray undersized, just 5'11". You know, he's not quite the 6'3", 260-pound behemoth that people look for at quarterback.
He's not at least 6 foot. I think he's at least 6 foot.
I think he's maybe 6 foot in cleats, maybe, but I think he's more like 5'11".
I gotta look this up.
Go ahead. Prove me right.
Go ahead.
I'm buying. But yeah, you know, he's got a lot of going into the draft, and you know, before we started potting, me and you were kind of talking about what the hell do we do at the quarterback position, and we were looking at some really early mock drafts, and my boy Matt Corral came up, and I got really hot on him really fast. And what I loved about him was just his, like, you know, he puts his body on the line, which has proven to be a bit of a detriment for him, but he's super just big heart, super physical, just does anything he can to win the football game. He's got that like X factor. And I see that in Sam Howell, which is really exciting. Those all the intangibles, all the things he can't coach, the arm strength, the X factor, playmaking ability, the willingness to take the hit when you need to, like all those things he has. So maybe we can split the difference on the taking the hit a little bit. I saw him take a couple of shots or try to extend a couple plays that made me a little uncomfortable, but you got to understand it's a rookie. It's a preseason game. he wants to just prove himself the best he can. So I like Howell. I like him a lot. I thought he played well. Got outside the pocket well. He's got the just impresses me is he just throws a really pretty ball. That ball comes out with some zip on it, and he puts that thing on a rope. He's really, really. I mean, he's not insanely accurate, but he's that ball comes out with a lot of confidence, and it comes out straight very
Well, I
often.
mean,
It
he
doesn't
had a
have that
fair
wobble
number
on
of
it.
drops, which we'll get into
Yeah,
here in a bit, but no issue with his accuracy and
no, not at
arm
all.
strength, and he could definitely escape the pocket. He had a couple of those. How did he get out of that moments?
Yeah,
I guess he even critiqued himself after the game and said, sometimes he hung on to the ball too long, which is a bit of a criticism. But I think that's not unusual for a young guy. Seems to be
yeah,
picking up the offense. Again, impressive to go end to end. I mean, he essentially led a game tying drive, hit the receiver right in the chest for the 2 point
beautiful ball.
conversion, and he didn't end up making the catch. So
Yep.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing not to like there. And the great thing is that hopefully we won't see him play this year. He
Yeah,
can just develop, learn. I mean, I do think, we got into this a little bit. I do think there'd be a legitimate argument if, God forbid, Carson went down. I think there'd be a legitimate argument there in terms of do you want to give Hal a chance? But I think in terms of the thinking of the team, he's firmly number three, and yeah, it's a development year for him, which I think is great to have that luxury. But he keeps going like this, it could get interesting in a couple of years now. I really am
yeah,
hopeful, and I do think, I'd predict that at the end of this year, Wentz will still be our starter. I think we're going to be impressed enough with him that he's going to be firmly in place as the starter. But
yeah,
it could get interesting 2, 3 years down the line. You know, uh, Heineke's contract's up at the end of the year. So, I mean, that
yeah,
in and of itself will get interesting. But no, he looked good. I think in terms of, what you didn't like, I actually liked how the team competed, right?
yeah,
I mean, they came out and really, especially in the first half, I thought they were the better team, and yeah, it's third and fourth stringers or second, third stringers in the first half, not many starters playing at all. So you could say that, but I like the fact that they competed with or outcompeted the mighty preseason Ravens, right?
the preseason
I really
Warriors.
thought that, they got him off the field. I mean, the only thing the Ravens did was that one deep ball with the blown coverage,
Yeah,
which is one of the downs, but it's one play. It's blown coverage on one play,
yeah,
which again you can't have, but backups in the game. I think that was Danny Johnson and Percy Butler who got shredded on that play for 67 yards. Um,
well,
but I thought they competed well. I was actually happier in terms of just how they came out and played. I think it just shows good coaching that they were
yeah,
that well prepared for the game. And honestly, the only reason that they didn't have the lead were because of individual mistakes. The coaches put the players in position to win that game,
yeah,
and that I like to see that the
yep,
individuals didn't make plays. And got to get into it. I know he's your favorite, De'Ami Brown. Just
yeah, I was gonna
tough,
bring that
tough
up.
game for him. I mean, two plays that could have been part of touchdown drives. The second drop was a tougher catch, but that's a catch you got to make if you want to be a top wide receiver in this league. Tough
Yeah,
outing by De'Ami.
agreed. So a couple takeaways from what you said there. Yeah, I agree. The individual mistakes were kind of the thing that if we're looking at this as like a regular season game, that would have been definitely what cost us the game. And what you're taking away from it is like you just can't have individuals making mistakes like that. Of course, individual mistakes don't matter as much when you're looking at guys who aren't going to be on the field a lot. Unfortunately, because of our lack of depth at cornerback and in the secondary in general, I fear that Danny Johnson and Percy Butler getting burnt is a real concern, and that could have real world implications during the regular season because you're looking at that's your fourth corner and your third safety. So those guys are going to be on the field, and especially in the world of nickel defenses.
Jeremy Reeves is my third safety.
Well,
I
we'll
mean,
see. We'll
and
see.
he played. he
Reeves
played
is
his
a
way
hooper.
into
I
that.
really I
Yeah,
really like Reeves, but I'm going off
yeah,
of the the guess here. We obviously don't have the final depth chart, but um,
right.
so yeah, those are the coaching
But
kind of
it's
seem
fair.
to
It's a good point. It's a
yeah,
good
these are
point.
guys that are going to be contributing one way or the other. They're going to be on the field. The
Right.
coaching seemed to turn around a bit. I mean, 1 for 8 on third down. That's a really good stat. We held the Ravens to 1 for 8 on third down. That is a night and day from where we were before. And one thing I just want to point out, I've been critical of the Ravens preseason streak. I don't mean that criticism towards the players or the coaches. I mean that criticism towards the fans. I could care less from a fan perspective how well other teams are doing during the preseason and the fans getting hyped about that. That's dumb. But the players and coaches, it's your job to go out there and win football games if there's a football game being played. So I expect those coaches should want to be 22 and 0. Those players should want to be 22 and 0, 23 and 0, whatever it is. I just, as a fan, I don't care that much. But I agree
Actually,
with you.
I
Great to
wanna.
see the guys go out and compete. And really just it kind of brings us back to earth a little bit. After the first game, we were feeling pretty good. The second game, we were feeling pretty awful. And then I think we're a little bit back to equilibrium here, a little more sober as a whole after that game. I don't know. That's how I feel. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Trying to
mean,
let you get in there.
I hate the fact that they go over 0-3. I just,
Yeah.
you want to learn how to win, all those things. But the reality is, it's meaningless.
Yep.
Um, and your starters didn't play for the most part, other than a couple of exceptions. I do want to make one correction. I think Derek Foster's our third safety, right?
Mm, yeah.
He actually
Yeah.
was playing with the starters as that
And
nickel
he can ball
Buffalo
too.
back.
I actually
Yeah.
really like him as well.
So
I like
you
our
know
depth
that
at safety.
yeah, yeah. So I just
Corner is another story.
he's someone we kind of forgot about, right? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden he reappeared this season and has been contributing. So let's hope that keeps up in the regular season. But how about we just jump right into the awards? I think that'll kind of round out what we thought of the rest of the game. So I think pretty obvious with the sauce. What do you think?
Yeah, Sam Howell.
Got
It's
to be
got to
Sam
be.
Howell.
Just a
Okay.
great effort from him. Really exciting. We'll have plenty of time next June and April to talk about where Sam Howell belongs on the depth chart and his future and whatever. I don't want to waste too much time with more exciting things to talk about right now. But really glad we have him on the team. Really cool developmental prospect. And he has been the star of the last couple preseason games or last few preseason games. So I'm pretty excited about Sam Howell. Easy sauce
Yeah,
award for you
that
this
one's
week
pretty easy, right?
for slinging Sammy, as Pop has
Slinging
dubbed him.
Sammy Howell. It's got to
There you
catch
go.
on.
We're working on t-shirts.
I think there's only a few people that actually remember that where that reference comes from.
I have no idea
Slinging
where that
Sammy
reference
Ball.
comes from. So,
Sammy Ball.
oh man,
That
that's
was his
bad.
nickname.
That's a bad miss on my part. I'll contribute that one to youth. That's youth.
I don't blame you one bit. That's the Geese Award. That's the Geese Award for me. Um,
um,
definitely geezing on that. So helmet stickers.
Go ahead.
I'll go first. I think I'll go Dax Milne. He had, he was
I really like Dax Milne.
Dax Milne is got he's steady. Obviously, not the most impressive in terms of speed and all that, but he seems to catch the ball every time it's thrown his way. He runs good routes. I know that B. Mitch in the post game as well as Santana didn't love him as a punt returner. Just says yeah, he can catch the ball. He's reliable, but not very explosive.
Yeah.
But I think he's cemented his spot on the team. Again, 4 catches in the first quarter before he sat down. So I thought that was pretty strong. So I'd vote Dax Milne for a helmet sticker.
Agreed. Big Dax Milne fan over here. I really like him. I think he's underrated in terms of like a depth piece on our roster. I think it was a good pick. I'm a big Dax Milne truther. I like him. My helmet sticker, I'll go Jeremy Reeves. I think he's a stud. I mean, a stud meaning relative to where he belongs on the depth chart, but I think he's a stud. I think he's a great player, and just a big fan of him overall. He always kind of brings a pretty physical presence and just brings a little bit of electricity off the bench that I think you really are looking for those kind of guys. So Jeremy Reeves
Yeah,
for
I
that
know
one.
there's some talk about him, whether or not he's got a roster spot, but I
He's
don't think
got
there should
to.
be too
I'd be
much
really
doubt.
disappointed if he didn't. Um,
Yeah, and I think maybe before we wrap up this section, I do want to have a quick roster discussion because there's a couple of interesting things going
sure.
on there. Yeah, but yeah, and then third, what do you think? I thought Jared Patterson had a game.
Yeah, why not? Why
Yeah,
not?
I mean, I thought he played really well. He had some really nice runs. I think combined running and receiving, I think if I'm not wrong, I could check the box score, but I think he had over 100 yards between the two. So, he played really well.
Yeah,
And
he's our go-to
again, it's
preseason
another one. I
warrior.
mean, it maybe transitioning from a roster perspective, it's pretty interesting, right? Do you keep four running backs? Do you keep four tight ends? Do you keep six receivers? You can't do all of that.
Yeah,
Where do you pick? They'd have to keep at least four running backs for Patterson to make the team. Um, tight end wise, I think at the end of the day, it may come down to the health of Cole Turner, but I just don't see how you could keep more than three, and then maybe it's practice squad for the other guys. But if you're only keeping five wide receivers, that might be problems for De'Ami Brown.
yeah.
You hadn't really spoken on De'Ami Brown yet.
So
What's your take at this point?
that's a nice segue. De'Ami Brown's a waste of a roster spot. I don't know why we still have him. Kcats of the game, De'Ami Brown in my book for sure. We'll talk more about the Kcats in a second after I finish my rant. I think you know he was a project at best when we drafted him, and the knock on him coming out of college was he makes the hard catches and he misses the easy ones.
He
And
was
we
Terry
saw,
McLaurin 2.0. That's what we were told.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, everybody was talking about, oh, we got so much speed. He's so fast. He's useless because he doesn't catch the ball. Who cares if he's open? He could be the
Well,
fast.
he doesn't run. He doesn't run very good
He
routes
doesn't
either. I
run
mean,
good routes.
what I see from him is just he's lacking a bit of that. You know, using the terms that the football players use it, the dog mentality.
Yeah,
It's like he does seem to want to avoid contact, especially over the middle. He's rounding out his routes almost to avoid the defensive backs instead of running that crisp out. There was one ball that Howell threw that you'd go, oh, bad throw. But if you go back and re-examine it, it wasn't a very well-run route to give the quarterback a chance. So
and
I like the kid. He's a third-round pick. They're not going to cut him.
a thing
They're not
that,
going to cut him.
and this is what's frustrating to me is like a thing that makes it even more impactful for me is we're talking about Dax Milne and his punt returning and the fact that yeah he's reliable but maybe he doesn't have a lot of prowess at the position and we're not going to be looking for a lot more than just a steady hand there and we let DeAndre Carter go for next to nothing to keep both Dax Milne and De'Ami Brown and now in my opinion De'Ami Brown is on the verge of being cut and if he's not cut he's not going to be on the field at all next year so
Yeah,
what's the
they were
point?
saying
What's
JP
the
was
point?
saying he's likely to be inactive day one if he's the sixth receiver, right?
Exactly. So what's the point of not bringing back Carter and who could actually return the punts, and we have Milne who can actually be a half decent sixth receiver, and having De'Ami Brown on the roster for what? For your pride because you messed up in the third round? Cut him.
It's a fair point,
I don't know.
but it's a fair point.
That's,
But they're not at this point.
it's too late now.
He's super fast. They're not going to give up on him. Um, I think you've got a receiver. You've got of course Terry. You got Dotson. You got Samuel. You got Cam Sims, Milne, and Brown. I think it's pretty much a lock. But you're right. I mean, another thing is keeping De'Ami Brown might mean you cut Jarrett Patterson.
Which is insane. I think we have
Yeah,
to. I think we have to keep four running backs on this roster because we're looking at McKissick and Gibson, who both have not completed full seasons since they've been playing for us, and they both get nicked
right.
up. And a lot of it is just the nature of the way McKissick plays. He's going to get nicked up. And then we have Robinson, who looks really good in the preseason, but is a rookie. And we're going to have the three of them kind of rotating. We're going to see them all get touches we got to have somebody if they're getting hurt. We can't be bringing in, and especially with Wentz, I don't really think Wentz is the guy that we're going to be going for 50 attempts per game with. I think you got to have.
And yeah, and they've
So I think
they've got Patterson could be a kick returner too, right?
I would trim the fat at the well, I mean, maybe Gibson's the kick returner.
Yeah, but scary thing about Gibson is if the last thing you want is fumbling on kick returns.
Yeah, it is a weird.
I think it's I understand his talent. I get that he could be dynamic. I get that he was really good at it in college, but it's like the guy gets benched for fumbling, and now we'll make him our kick returner.
It is
what if he starts putting the ball on the floor as a kick returner?
I think it's a different.
I don't know. I just I think I like the idea of keeping Patterson around for that as well, right? I think he can return kicks.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into the weeds on that because it's kick returning at the end of the day. Most of the time it goes out of the back of the end zone anyways. But I think if we're going to trim the fat anywhere, it's at the tight end position. I know they love John Bates. I'm not a John Bates believer, in my opinion. I'm not particularly dying to have him here / around.
But he's a lock.
He's a lock, unfortunately. But I just don't think. I mean, and even with Rodgers, it's like, yeah, he showed up and he performed, but he wouldn't have been anywhere near relevant if any of our first 3 tight ends were healthy. So if Bates is good to go week 1, I think we probably only keep 3 tight ends.
Bates is supposed to be practicing now, according to Ron.
Yeah, so if we can
he didn't mention Turner. But,
if we can have Bates and Thomas week 1, I think it's okay to cut bait on Rodgers personally, and maybe see if we can practice squad the guy because he is talented. But
yeah, I think he's going to be a practice squad. Yep. It's just a numbers game.
Yep,
it's a numbers game. He's going to have to be.
Anyway, so I hinted at it earlier. Let's move on because we do got to do our NFL power rankings. So let's go to our kickouts. Our kickouts of the game, pretty easy. De'Ami Brown, couple bad.
De'Ami Brown's drops. I don't like making it personal.
De'Ami Brown's drops.
Definitely kickouts moments. So we've already talked enough about that. Let's get on to our kickouts of the week.
Yeah, this one's
because I think this is just classic.
This one's fun. So, kickouts of the week this week is these mascot activity around the NFL. I mean, it's completely just we've lost all scope.
It's insane.
It's uncivilized. These guys are going nuts. It's just incredible. It's anarchy out there. I mean, we got
Poe the Raven. At halftime, all these tweets, and it's even in the broadcast. Poe the Raven, the Ravens mascot, goes down.
He's on the.
And you're saying to yourself, what's going on, right? Like, kickouts, what's happening? The mascot got her. And it can happen, right? Mascots are jumping around and doing all kinds of things. But turns out he goes down because this new thing in the NFL, which I'd never seen before, is they have these game of mascots versus kids. So apparently, see the replay of it. I sent Dominic the replay. A kid tackled him from behind. Looked pretty innocent, right? But he goes down, and I don't know. People are joking that maybe he's got an ACL tear. I have no idea, but apparently he couldn't make it off the field. And poor guy, right? But what the heck are they thinking, having these grown men in mascot suits play against kids? It's insane. So then this other clip is going around the internet, which I thought was hilarious. I think it was during the Atlanta was playing the Jaguars in Atlanta. And this mascot, this guy looks like 6'5", and he's playing against, it looks like middle schoolers, and he's just stiff-arming them and just wasted these kids if you haven't seen it, you got to see it. Like, this guy is just wasting these little kids as they're running up to him trying to tackle them.
Just
how did this become a thing? Who thought this was a good idea?
They need a raise.
Mascots
in my
versus
opinion.
Kids.
Whoever came up with this idea needs a raise. I think this is great. I think this
has got to be top 5 kickouts yet. Like, it's
up there.
It's
up there.
Unbelievable.
This is fantastic. I'm a big fan of this whole situation. I think we should have like a bracket throughout the season. And I think we should do this at the Super Bowl halftime show. After the performance, we should have the mascot, or maybe for the pregame or something like that. But this needs to find its way to get into the Super Bowl because
the mascot just wasting kids, like maybe it's a response people talk about participation trophies and the kids are too soft these days. So to make up for it, we're going to put these kids against grown
I
men
think
who probably, didn't even play high school football and are out there in the glory. I mean, this guy in Atlanta should be put in jail. I mean, he just abused these kids. I mean, hopefully Dominic can post a clip,
yeah, we'll see how my
weave the
editing
clip
skills
in
work
there. But
here,
oh my God, like
it's
Poe the Raven, looked like they were taking it pretty easy, and but this Atlanta dude, I mean, it's
well, hey,
incredible.
thoughts and prayers to Poe the Raven. I don't know what kind of healthcare and benefits you get as a mascot for an NFL team. I can't imagine it's
I
great.
mean, how does this impact your power rankings for the Ravens? I mean, what a
I
blow!
know
What
it's
a blow to their Super Bowl
unbelievable. I
chances.
mean, I tell you what, though, I hope Commander Hogg is out there just laying people out. I hope he's flattening people. I hope Commander Hogg is coming over the middle like LeVar Arrington. I want to see some kid's shoes go into the
I
stands.
want Commander Hogg to be like 6'1", 250, 260, like just a tank,
You should swap in B-Mitch into the Commander Hogg suit during a commercial break and have him just take it to
Oh
the
my
house. That's
God,
what I want to see. But
so much fun.
anyways, yeah, just
All right,
talk about that all day. But let's get into our top 10 NFL power rankings. Let's have some fun with this one.
rapid fire. Let's run through
Yeah, we're
this,
gonna go quick.
pretty quick. Yeah.
We're gonna go. I'm gonna go 10-1. You can go your style on yours.
Our associate producer says you always got to go bottom to top.
Yeah, and to be honest, I liked it a little bit better last time we did. So, how do you want to do it? Do you want me to do 10 and then you give your 10, or you want me to go 10-1?
No, why don't you just run through your 10-1? Right. Don't take up all the time.
No, I'll be quick. Be quick. So
get through it. Make your points quick.
Mine's a little controversial. I don't have the San Francisco 49ers in my top 10. I'm just going to come out and say it. I've seen that in all the articles I was looking at, doing a little bit of pre-research. Everybody has them high up. I'm not willing to gamble on Trey Lance like that yet. I think if Trey Lance performs
I think that's fair.
If Trey Lance performs up to his draft capital, of course they're a top 10 team, maybe top 5, but I just don't know yet, so I'm not going to put them there. So speaking of which, at number 10 is the Baltimore Ravens. I have them at number 10. Poe the Raven. Sorry. Maybe they could have cracked the top 5 if Poe.
How many spots did they drop because of Poe?
Oh, at least 6.
Injured?
At least 6.
Oh, wow.
It's just rough. We'll see how his rehab's going if he's on the PUP list to start the season. But yeah, at number 10, Baltimore Ravens. I've said on the pod before, I think Lamar could have a bounce back MVP like year this year with a healthy roster around him. I think the Ravens are going to be really good. They are probably going to outperform this ranking, honestly. So number 10, Ravens. Number 9, Las Vegas Raiders. I think Adams is just kind of the missing piece there that is going to bring that offense into that top tier of the NFL. Breakout year for Derek Carr. Another sneaky MVP candidate. Number 8, Los Angeles Chargers. Almost said San Diego. Can't get that through my head. Speaking of explosive offenses, they're unreal. Some questions on defense. We'll see. Number 7, Denver Broncos. This is a very high ranking.
I knew Denver's going to be up there for you.
But I really believe in Russ Wilson. I really think Pete Carroll's offense held them back. I think they're going to be really, really, really special this year. So number 7.
You love you some Russ Wilson.
I love Russ Wilson. I'm consistent. I love Russ Wilson.
Yeah.
Here's something inconsistent because I didn't pick them to win their division, which was definitely the Go Juice talking. Number 6, the Green Bay Packers. You just can't.
You got to go back and watch the Go Juice.
Yeah, Go Juice episode. I think it's episode 22, something like that. All-time classic. Got to go check it out. Yeah, but Green Bay Packers at number 6. Not much to be said. Aaron Rodgers, you can't count him out. Number 5.
When is our next drinking pod?
Not soon enough. I'll tell you what.
Oh man.
Number 5, Cincinnati Bengals. A lot of people are talking potential Super Bowl hangover. I don't see it. They improved the offensive line a lot. I think it's a really, 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 really good football team. I think they only get better. So number 5, Cincinnati Bengals. Number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. I think, believe it or not, this is going to be a hot take, but I think with no Tyreek there, I don't think they're better. but I think they've added other pieces at wide receiver that Mahomes is going to be able to spread the ball out more effectively, and it's not going to be so focused on one guy going downfield. And I
It's a
think
good
that
take.
is honestly going to bring the offense forward because we talk about Howell holding onto the ball a little bit. Some of the problems with Mahomes is how deep he drops and how long he holds onto the ball looking for the big play. And I think that is going to be eliminated by Tyreek Hill not being there. So I think Kelsey's going to eat, and I think he's going to spread the ball out a lot, a la the Green Bay Packers teams before Adams arrived over there. And I think they're going to be fantastic this year.
Great take.
Number 3, LA Rams, Super Bowl champs. Can't count them out of the top 3. We'll see with Stafford's elbow, but these guys are definitely in contention to repeat. Number 2, Tampa Bay Bucks. What more is there to be said? Elite defense, elite offense.
Shocker.
Tom Brady's greatest football player to ever do it. Number 1,
Shocker.
again, this is an easy pick here, but it's got to be the Buffalo Bills, right? Most complete team in football and top to bottom, scarily dominant, in my opinion, in terms of like how good that I think that defense alone could carry you to a wild card spot. And then you've got Josh Allen
Yeah, they're at
and
the top of
Stephon
they're at the
Diggs.
top of
I
a
mean,
lot of
Jesus,
the
that's the
power
best team in
ratings.
the NFL in my opinion. So those are my rankings. I think probably the Raiders being in my top 10 is a hot take. Broncos, as high as they are, probably a bit of a hot take, but those are my rankings. And I stand by them. Damn it.
Excellent. Very good, very good. Well, we'll check in as the season goes on. Yeah, interesting. So no NFC East teams in your top 10.
Not unlike ESPN, who had the Cowboys at 10, kick hots.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
even close, in my opinion.
But neither do I. I don't have any NFC East teams in my top 10. I got to admit, probably a little bit of homerism there. I'm a little bit like I find the NFC East a little mysterious,
Yeah.
right? Eagles are getting a ton of hype. Cowboys always get a ton of hype. I wouldn't be shocked if both of those teams are really good, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're
And
overhyped
they're
and not that
mediocre,
good
right?
either.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's hard. It's tough. And I found the top five, six were pretty easy, but then from there, I found it a little difficult, which maybe is a good sign for a team like the Commanders if we could make a run, because none of the last 3 or 4 teams in this top 10 really scare me. But I'll get going here. So 10, this is gonna surprise you. Captain Kirk and the Minnesota Vikings.
All right, I like that pick. 10. I like that pick a lot.
Yeah.
I like
they seem like a real talented team, talented offense.
KOC, baby.
KOC, I know you love you some KOC. I got the same. Not my 9 is the only pick that's the same as yours, Raiders. Mm-hmm. I did put San Francisco as number 8. I think I was just talked into that.
Yes, it's a good pick.
I don't have the Chargers in my top 10. I don't know. I just haven't watched them play enough. I know there's a lot of hype around them. They could be a top 10 team. You could easily swap them in there, but I went with the 49ers. I think Kyle's just a great coach, as much as we might not like to admit it sometimes. I think he's just going to maximize that team. And who knows? Quick. You're hearing great news about Trey. It's preseason, but they do got Jimmy G. They got Green Bay at 7.
10 seconds here. You said, Kyle, I just want to announce something. This season, I'm officially putting to bed my Kyle Shanahan hate. It's over. I'm going to let him be great. I just wanted to make an official announcement because I've been very down on him his whole career. Kyle, I wish you nothing but the best. Go ahead, Pop. I know he's listening, so I had to say it. Go ahead.
All right. But we don't know if we're going to be here a week from now.
No, who knows?
He may never hear this. He may never hear it. All right. 7 is Green Bay. 6, I've got the Bengals. And number 5, I've got the Baltimore Ravens. I'm really high on the Ravens this year. I'm really high on the Ravens this year. 4, you're not going to like this. I got Tampa Bay. I think any of these top 4, by the way, they're interchangeable. I really think these are the best teams in the league. I got Buffalo at 3. You're not going to like that either. I get a real Golden State Warriors vibe from Kansas City this year.
I like it.
I think it's going to be a rebound year. I picked Golden State to win the championship in basketball. I like KC. I got them at number 2. And, Rams don't get enough respect. Super Bowl champs. They're bringing just about everybody back. They've reloaded in some spots. I got the Rams at number 1. They got to get knocked off that pedestal.
Respect.
So that's my top 10. And I think just quickly, obviously neither one of us, unfortunately, have the Commanders in the top group. ESPN has Commanders at 21. NFL Network, I don't know what they did wrong to the NFL Network, but that's also the 3 and 14 network Commanders pick. But got them at 28. Yahoo at 21. Yep. NBC Sports got them at 22. About where would you have the Commanders in your power ratings?
I did 20.
Real quick.
Very 20? Quickly, I said 20 just because I went to the ESPN article and I just looked through the list and I said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to count the number of teams that I think we're better than before we get to our ranking, which I think was 21. And I picked 2 teams out of those that I thought we were better than. And then I'm going to count the number of teams that I think were worse than, that were ranked after than us. And the Vikings was one of them. So we moved up 2 spots and then back 1. So I got us at 20.
I know I bring it up every week, but you did pick them to go 11 and 6.
We'll get into that next week. I know but that is definitely changing. A little teaser for next week's episode. But not particularly high on the Commanders at the moment. I think 20 is realistic expectations. I think we could go higher, but I think 20 is the best combination of what's realistic and where our floor is, in my opinion.
I got them at 16, 17. That's so fair. I think it's just right in that playoff contention, last wild card spot. I think the additional teams I kind of put in front of them in the NFC were the Eagles and the Cardinals. Yeah. So, which would just put them just outside of the playoffs. But I'm not giving up hope. Again, we'll get into record predictions next week. And then I think real quickly, maybe, son, just to kind of wrap this up, it's been a fun episode. For Bada Bets, thought it would be pretty easy, right? We'll just do our Super Bowl teams and who's the Super Bowl winner. So for you, it should be pretty easy. I guess it's Buffalo against Tampa, your top 2 teams in the Super Bowl?
Nope.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Curveball. Right. How do you rank them as your top 2 in power ratings, but they're not your Super Bowl team?
Because
do that math.
I'll do the math for you. I think we get a rematch, AFC Championship game, Buffalo Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And I think Pat Mahomes.
Wait a minute. This is your power ratings. Doesn't that automatically infer they're going to be your top?
Nope. That's not how. That's
2
not
teams
how,
in the NFL.
That's the best teams. We're ranking on any given Sunday who's the best team. But if I'm looking at the bracket, once we get to the playoffs, because now we're not talking about best teams. I think we can all agree the Bengals were not the best team in the AFC last year, but they caught heat and they took off, right? I think I'm with you. I got Kansas City coming out of the AFC, and this is another crazy one, I got Green Bay coming out of the NFC. I think we finally get to see Kansas City, Green Bay, and I'm taking Kansas City win the Super Bowl this year. That's my Midwestern pick. Shout out to my girlfriend. I got the Kansas City Chiefs.
I don't know what to say. I can't do the math. I guess just I'm an engineer. Okay. We could.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, but that's my pick. That's my pick. I think once we get into the playoffs, I think that's who's going to do it.
Your number 4 rated team versus your number 6 rated team is your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to stick to my board, and I'm going to say it's Rams versus Kansas City. And I am going to flip it a little bit. I'm going to give the win to the Chiefs. So, unfortunately, I guess we got the same Super Bowl winner because that's my pick. But I'll go KC versus the Rams in the Super Bowl. So that's our bada bet.
We have different NFC teams, so we already have the tiebreaker there. So it's all good. Whichever, if the Rams or the Packers make it further, that's the tiebreaker right there. And one of them.
So comment, tweet, let us know who your pick is. Yep. But I think that about wraps it
You
up.
got a score prediction really quick?
No.
31-28
We'll get to
Kansas
that later.
City. We'll put it down right now. Right now. Go get your plus 10,000 odds.
31-28.
Yeah, that's it for today, I think.
I'll go 24-21.
Nice.
Surprisingly little lower
defensive struggle. All right.
Yeah.
And Poe is gonna go for 150 yards in the halftime game.
In the halftime
2
game,
touchdowns.
He'll be back from his ACL.
Yeah. All in for week 1. Poe is back.
Oh my gosh!
All right, Pop. Well, let's wrap this one up. I think it's a great episode, and guys, thanks for another great week. Episode 25, unbelievable. Quarter of the way to 100.
Yeah, awesome.
That's incredible.
Thanks, everybody.
But, thanks, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, whatever. And without further ado, been Dom.
This is Pop.
And thanks for another great week, guys.
Love me, baby. I'm on your chain, can't complain. You're so lovely, look in your eyes, paradise. I'm so close to heaven now. Just waiting on you. Love me like that. Just love me like I love you, baby. Just love me like I love you. I'm waiting on you.